All right, let's get started. We will go through a team meeting today. Like half the agents in the brokerage have texted me and said they're all listening to this while they're out on a walk because the day is nice. And so hopefully they get something out of it. We will maybe move forward if this will work. All right, as always, buyer seller needs first. Anything, referrals, whatever you've got that you want to share with everybody. You have to use our cool non-functioning mic that works for online only. Phyllis Ann, we're going to talk about Realtor Safety Month.
Aren't you clever? This is Phyllis Ann. I have a condo in Santa Quinn, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, main level, some really nice little upgrades, has a little electric fireplace. He's done some nice upgrades on the walls and things like that. 275. I also need
275 where?
in Saratoga Springs. I mean in Santa Quinn. Sorry, Santa Quinn. I also need something in Ogden. Their max is about 370. I've been showing them a lot of little bungalows up there, but I'd like to keep it in the brokerage. If anybody has anything, let me know. And I also need a single family home, probably no farther this way north than, I would say, Springville. So anywhere from Springville to Santa Quinn, probably somewhere between 450 and 500 max. So there you go. Anybody else?
Well, nobody's got anything for sale, no business happening. Anybody online? Okay, I will share. Lisa Flutie wanted me to give you information on her condo in West Valley. 2 beds, 2 baths. It's got a 1-car garage, which is great for a condo, and listed at 324. So great price up in that area. They need to get it moved. So if you know of anybody, she would love to get it sold. Who else? Going once, twice?
Condo I just listed in Provo. If any.
Okay, this is Britt Gardner. He's going to start over in a second.
Starting over. So I've got a little condo in Brookstone, if you know where that's at. It's
Is that a city in Utah?
let's see, it's Castlebrook. Sorry, Castlebrook condos.
In what city?
It's in Provo,
Okay.
down on the river. And so it's a 2-bedroom. There's another one in there that Tim has listed for 220. We came in at 215, so we can beat him.
Rude.
They're both corner units, which only has one shared wall. And they're both, I think both of them are great. So at
Rentable?
215 and 220.
Are they rentable?
They are rentable. Yep.
Room rents?
Probably 1,500.
Will they room rent or only whole unit rent?
That's a good question. I'm in the beginning stages of trying to understand the CCNRs. The HOA fees are $550 a month, but that covers your utilities. And there's
all
swimming
utilities?
pool that they're in the process of in the last 3 years.
So all utilities, gas, electric,
Yes, all the
water,
above.
sewer, power.
So
550 still.
Yeah.
yep, all of the above.
So come do your laundry.
I'm actually toying with buying it myself.
Just for the laundry?
Okay.
Yeah, the laundry is a whole different atmosphere. There is a laundry facility on the property, but you're not supposed to have a laundry inside of your own unit. Not supposed to have.
But you're at 220 on it?
215 on mine.
215?
Tim's is 220.
Okay.
Probably 2 miles, 2.5 miles, maybe. So,
Walkable.
Hi.
All right, anybody else?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I have a new listing in Elk Ridge on Skyhawk Way. It's a great house. It's got views from every window, and it's 680, which is like $179 a square foot. It's a fully finished 3.5 bath, 5 bedroom. And it also has a flat backyard, which is uncommon up there on the hill. So 2-car garage, ready to go, great condition, well thought out basement, I will say.
Awesome.
What's the price again?
680, it's ready to go.
And that's Shelley.
Shelley, yeah.
And no HOA fee. So that 550 HOA fee is killer.
Yeah, 550 HOA is really hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great listing that Shelley has. Anyone else? Okay, Todd texted me. He doesn't have a mic, but Todd Telford is looking for, so if you've got a pocket listing for this, he's looking for something in East Orem, East Linden, East Springville, or Mapleton, lots of Easts in there. And looking for anything up to 1.2 million. So if you got pretty much anything nice coming up, contact Todd.
Take care of where?
I just read a whole list. East Linden, East Orem, East Springville, or Mapleton.
So how about West Saratoga?
Hell, that's not on my list, bro.
Thinking about that, picking up and not listening to where
Yeah, all
I
good.
got coming up 1.2 million in Saratoga.
All right. Okay, we will move on. First thing that you need to write down on your calendars is agent appreciation. So our agent appreciation breakfast and awards is coming up on the 13th of April. Get there at 9:30. The event the awards part of it starts at 10 o'clock, but get there at 9:30 so you can visit all the vendors, get signed up for great prizes. We do a raffle every year, as you know, for those prizes. So make sure you get there a little bit early. It's the same place it was last year in the Gail Miller Conference Center. They're right across from the Salt Lake Board offices, across the freeway from the Salt Lake Board offices on about a 90th South or somewhere in there. So right next to the freeway. Address is on there. If you've already RSVP'd, you won't get this, but if you haven't RSVP'd, we just mailed out postcards to you because we do want you to sign up and come. So make sure you get done. We'll have some fantastic speakers. Should be a really good event. So and Don has outdone himself this year. So be ready for what he has to offer. It'll be great. Upcoming classes. So these are additions to your calendars as well. As usual, the first Wednesday of each month, and this one falls on April Fool's Day. So I will have fun doing that one, is our tech stack class. We'll talk something tech. I haven't decided what exactly, but it'll be good. April 8th is our CE class here in office. April 13th is the celebration breakfast we just talked about. And then team meeting next month will be April 22nd. So make sure those are all on your calendar. And then in addition to that, our client appreciation pool parties are coming up in July and August. So if you'd like to participate in that, it usually comes in right around 150, 200 bucks at the most per agent. Really cheap to invite all your clients to those client appreciation events. And they're great. I mean, every agent that's ever done it has really enjoyed it. So if you'd like to be part of that, our spots are filling up quickly. So make sure and get with Maya and let her know that you'd like to participate in those events. Next, if you haven't heard, so Bill sent out a big email letting us know that he is going on an LDS mission to Hungary. He'll be leaving in April, and he does not need to sell a house. No, he's keeping his house. So I don't know if you know where his house is. His house is gorgeous, so I wouldn't give it up either.
It's going to be living in it virtually anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you didn't see the email announcement that went out, there's a problem. Like, look at your email settings, find out where it went, spam or somewhere. It actually says important announcement from Bill Telford. So make sure that you got that. Make sure that it's on your list to make sure that those emails get through. It's super important. Like I said, he's leaving. He's gone out for 18 months. He's leaving mid-April. Bill founded our brokerage in 2012. He started with just 2 agents. And by 2022, he had grown iPro to over 450 agents. And he started the agents first. That's his whole philosophy behind it. And we've tried to carry that on as branch brokers and help all of you as being the agent first mentality. We'll get to that. So he built a culture where agents were treated as clients, not just producers, and instilled the same heart in every employee and branch broker. His impact lives on in every agent who joined us because someone shared his impact. And we have a lot of people who have shared his impact on their business, and that's why they're with us. And so, look, guys, send him off the right way. Send him an email, send him a card, just give him a pat on the back, whatever. He will be at our agent event, our awards event in April. That's right before he leaves, but he's planning on being there. But please let him know that he made a difference. It's important that he knows that and feels that. So if you haven't taken the time to reach out, please do. And yes, I will be taking over principal broker. That's just a name change, nothing else really. Everything else stays the same. I'm still here in the office. My job really doesn't change other than I get a lot more responsibility for no more pay. So it's good. It's fantastic. It'll be really good.
Yeah.
Um,
A huge pay increase.
Sorry, I didn't see that this was popped up over the top. All right, February top producers list. So this is those who sold in February. And now my button won't work. So for volume, and that's how much dollar amount is done. Number 1 was Perry Mills. Number 2 was Lisa Flutie. Number 3 was Orem Ledesma. Number 4, Curtis Christensen. And number 5, Jeff Justice. And for number of transactions done in February, Orem was first, Perry second, Lisa, Curtis, and then Jeff. So great top producers here. Congratulations to all of those who produced in February. And so that changes our top producers for all of 2026 year to date. This is where the top producer list stands. So number 1 in volume is Lisa. Number 2 is Brandon Johnson. Number 3 is Perry Mills. Number 4 is Ron Beesus. And number 5 is Jeff Justice. And number of transactions done, Lisa holds the top spot in both. And then Orem, Perry, Todd Telford, number 4, and Brandon goes to number 5 in number of transactions. So great start for all of these agents. Every single one of them has done over 2 million in volume so far this year. And so if you're looking for people who know how to do the business, go talk to these guys, find out what they're doing right. And so for last year, our awards came out. So the top section is for the UCAR Top 250. And in this office, we had a number of people who were in that. Cynthia Golpe, Shelley Jameson, Phil Lafine, Todd Telford, and Diana Telford. The Campbell team up in Midway also joined or part of UCAR, and they were on this list. And then for our top 500 on the Salt Lake board, Tim Reynolds and Agnes Reynolds out of this office, and then Karina Bassett out of the Union Park office were on that list. So these guys are top of the top guys. It takes a lot to get into these lists, right? And so if you want to be there next year, if you're like, hey, why isn't my name there? It's just you guys. You're your only limiting factor. There's really nothing that differentiates these people from what you do. Tim, what do you do different that makes you so cool that you made it on the list?
So, like, I didn't know they were here.
Sorry.
True.
There's Tim. There's Tim. Yeah. So Aram, do you do something different? Like,
to be honest with you, I had a pretty slow November, December. So I just feel like that was kind of like accumulated.
trickled over?
Yeah.
But you're always on the top. Do you do something different than Tim or me or Kathy or? I mean, you're just an agent, right? That works hard.
Yeah.
So that's really what it comes down to, guys. This isn't some rocket science thing, right? The people that are on the top of these lists, they're all there because they work hard every day, right? And if you want to be there, you can. There's nothing that limits you except you. All right, our in-house lender or our in-house partners, both lenders and title, Verus and Encompass, and so we're changing it up. We're making Jessica go first this time.
Jason's.
I know.
We'll go ahead and go with it today, so. I'm Jessica Jensen with Verus Title. So first of all, I want to thank you guys. We've had a lot of you guys use us. We totally appreciate that. So we have branches in case some of you are like new and things like that. We have branches in South Jordan. We have Orem, which is just like one road over. We also have one in St. George. We do e-closings, online closings. We've closed everywhere. So we'll go anywhere to close as well. We'll help out. One thing I'll mention to you guys with FinCen. Right now, so there was some like court judgment that came down with FinCen, basically in Texas, that kind of stopped the FinCen process. It's kind of in limbo, so it stopped, but they can still appeal it. So for us, what we're doing is we're collecting data on FinCen still, but we won't submit it until everything's final. So we still collect, we still get the data, we just don't submit that. So if you guys know about the FinCen, hopefully you all do by now. We still collect, we just don't submit. So if that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of
So
really,
embarrassed to say, I really don't know about the FinCen, but.
We'll talk about it in a minute. So
yeah,
it's all
I'm sure
good.
you guys will go over that. So, but yeah, we just want to mention that for us, because we still collect it. We just don't submit. So we just don't want to go back if it appeals. We don't want to go back to all these clients and try to collect stuff and be left with that. So
I thought that you couldn't actually close on trusts anymore, but are you saying you can close on a trust?
you can still close in, like you mean in a trust, like a seller or
You
an buyer.
have to use an attorney.
No, you can still close if you have a trust, or trust can be a buyer or seller. So you can still do that. So if you're going to FinCen, you can go over it if she needs to know that too. But yeah, so
Yeah, trusts and LLCs, entities in general
All of
can
that, yeah,
still
you can-
purchase. They can purchase and they can sell.
so you
Who
can.
can't be? I thought it was trust.
Illegal aliens. I don't know who can't. Everybody can purchase a house.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just tracking. FinCen's just tracking for us. So, but that's all I've got. So
Okay, thanks, Jessica.
yeah.
All right, next up, Jason Christensen from Encompass. You want to run the next couple of slides?
Well, I'll have you just.
All right.
I was just gonna say I was gonna be quick because I'm talking later, but if it's right after. So rates have gotten, yeah, they're about 6.5. but
Thanks for chipping
conventional.
in.
Yeah. So, the Middle East thing plus, the Fed leaking stuff, it's just going to be kind of being a yo-yo for a couple weeks, if not a little bit longer. But, I'm going to keep making sure I've got all of you guys on my list every Friday or Saturday morning if I don't get it until ready by late Friday. Every week on my mortgage minute to kind of give you an idea of what the national, doing with the little tidbits of kind of why we're there. So watch for that if you just want to have talking points with any of your clients. If they ask questions that are a little bit deeper, you can always refer them to me and I can go into details on that. But HomeStart encompasses, it's the one that used to be called Consumer Credit Education Program, CCP. They just rebranded it. They're going to be making it also consumer facing so that we can just guide people there to just go. It is a free service for your clients. So if you ever have any of your clients that are like, "Oh, I'd love to buy with you, but I need to work on my credit." Well, working on their credit on their own, they're not going to be ready anytime soon because they don't have the dedication. They don't really know what they're doing. It's better for you to just get them over to me so that I can get them credit qualified to buy. What I do is or what this program is we look at it, and if they're just not their credit, we come up with a game plan to get them there. What Kimberly does is she goes into the bureau itself directly and says, "What do I need to do to get to the score here?" And it will literally kick out a list of items. And some of those items can be pay this balance down to 800, let it report, then pay it down to 500. Sometimes it's stepping those down because as you take those balance, sometimes it's good to pay things off to zero. But if you want your score to increase quicker, you use the algorithm to your benefit. So sometimes it's taking it to this percentage level and then to the next level and it triggers that algorithm to score higher. I had one of Lisa's clients that we had them approved, ready to go for a purchase price. They didn't really like the payment of the rate, but where their score was, it was going to be X, and they were like a 640 credit score. I got them into the program while they're out looking. They went under contract, but in that 30 days, they followed the program and they went from a 640 to 720 in 30 days. And by the time they went on contract, their payment rate and everything else was dramatically better for them. They would qualify at the lower rate, but that we got them to where it is. And I got one for Todd that we've been working on since last July that just graduated and they're now getting ready to look. They're approved up to 600,000. And it took them since last July. So it does work. But what I do ask is, as you talk to your clients, this is a free service. We've bombarded her. She has 400 files now. So it's everyone wants something free because there's credit stuff out there that they can pay monthly. But we need to at least let them know that they're going to work it, they're going to get it, but it may take, like, they're not going to call that same day. It may take a couple days to get it. So just be conscious of it. But it is a great program and they will work if it takes them 2 years. As long as they're working the program, they will keep working with them. And once they graduate, they're going to come back to you to go buy. Once they're in the program, I get updates. Anytime they have a communication, it gets sent to me. So any of the clients that I put in there, I know exactly where they're doing. So Todd would call me and say, hey, where are they at? And I'll go look. I'm like, looks like they're on the program. They're working it, so that we know that they're not just ghosting and doing it, because you want clients to qualify. That's the whole game. But at the same time, you guys following up constantly, if they're not working a program to get there better, you're just wasting calls and time for something that isn't happening, basically. So take advantage of it. It's a great way for us to get you guys, to get them credit ready and back to you guys to get out and buy a house. I don't know if there's
Questions?
How much difference does that make to an interest rate, your credit score?
It could be dramatic. If you're going from a 640 to 720, it could be almost 3/8 to a 0.5% better in some cases. Really depends on debt ratio and other factors involved, but it is significant because there's credit level pricing adjustments. So the lower your credit, there's going to be a bigger adjustment for someone that's a 780. So yeah, I can get someone.
She hit 720.
No, 720, 760. Once you're getting about 780, it doesn't matter if you're 780 or 820, it's the same. So.
And if you're below 620, then you don't qualify?
Below 600, you won't qualify. Well, manual underwrite can go to 580 for FHA, but you're going to get hammered if you're at 600. The first.
720, anything?
No, the 780 and above is the best. Yeah. It used to be 760 before, but HUD and everyone else has the price adjustments now. So 760 is still getting a slight adjustment. But when at 780, you're not really getting any adjustments to your rate. And what I mean by adjustments is the cost of that rate. So there's certain things that this is getting complex, but there's certain rate adjustments. So it could affect what your par rate is, basically. That's really too deep. I probably shouldn't have.
They all went to sleep on you.
What?
She wanted deep, apparently. Not even going to go there. All right, guys, I want to make sure and give you guys some talking points for buyers and sellers based on the market stats and where we're at currently. So number one, this is looking at the last 6 months of stats for Utah County. As of right now, we've got 27% more homes on the market, 12% more year over year. So from February to February, we're 27% year over year. Number two, prices haven't dropped. So over the last 6 months, prices have not really dropped. They're the same. we're still in that 590 average, right? That's our average sale price right now in Utah County is 590. But homes are sitting just a little bit longer, but just barely, right? So in the last 6 months, they've averaged anywhere between 62 and 77 days on market. We're currently at 77. We're 1 day more than last February. Last February, we were at 76 days on market. And the spring rush is already starting. So there were 616 homes that went under contract in February, 453 homes sold in Utah County in February. So still a lot of business happening out in the market. It's not dead by any means. And so buyers need to know that. Rates are going up, which is going to be a challenge for them. But there's still affordable houses out there. On the buyer side of things, I'm seeing that sellers are willing to negotiate, sellers are willing to offer seller concessions, and sellers are being more realistic about their original list price. And so there are some really good properties out there.
I've made 5 offers on 5 different homes that have ended up, all of them in that multiple offers.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing them on a lot.
Did you win?
I did, well, not all, but
Yeah.
the important ones.
Yeah, I made an offer on a property over in Lehigh this last weekend, and there were 6 offers on it, right? 3 of those, 760. So, yeah, there were three of those offers that had escalation clauses in them, right? So it actually went for 790 was what it went for, and it was listed for 760. So.
That was what we're asking.
Yeah. So it just kind of depends. Like 812? I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the price per square foot. I did not win that one. No, we didn't. We were not going $30,000 over list. So these same numbers for sellers, they need to know that because the price hasn't changed really over the past 6 months, their equity is still safe. We're not going into a crash. We're not really in a correction. We're just pretty stable. And so they're not going to be losing equity if they stay where they're at. Price does matter more than ever, right? If we've got more inventory than we've ever had, that means that your home has to be one of the better ones, and it has to be priced well. Otherwise, you're not selling. There's a lot of homes. If you go look, there's a ton of homes that sit from 60 days and over, and then just a few homes that sit in that middle from 60 to 30, and then a bunch of homes that sit at the 30 days. And so everything's either selling quickly or it's sitting forever. Those are your 2 options in this market. You really don't have any other options.
I had a listing in Mapleton, and we brought it on at 635. One showing, about 8 walkthroughs and open house, and not really doing anything for a couple weeks. So I went to Shelley and we discussed the situation, and she said, and I thought the same thing about 620. We listed it at 619.9, and I had 3 offers in 5 days.
There you go.
What did you start out at?
635.
Oh, so you went down 15,000.
Yeah, we were down 15.
Yeah.
So
sellers need to know that buyers are absolutely out in the market. There are people out there buying. It's not a dead market, right? I mean, obviously, if we've got 600 homes under contract in February, we've got a lot of buyers out in the market, right? And that's just Utah County. That's not including anywhere else. And then the market has kind of found its rhythm. We're kind of back to a normalized market, right? We're right in that 60 to 70 days on market. As far as where we're at, we're not really going up or down. We're just kind of sitting in that middle number. And so that's where we're going to be for a while. It's okay. We're back to a normalized market. And I think it's important that your clients know that. Here's how to answer how's the market, right? So there is more inventory. Prices are stable. We have lots of active buyers. The market isn't hot. It isn't cold. It's actually just functioning like a normal market for the first time in many years, right? And that's a true statement. It has been a lot of years since we've been in just kind of a normalized market, right?
Like 2019, was that normal?
Yeah, it's pretty normal. All right, our sponsor for today, Chick-fil-A. If you guys are going to enjoy the Chick-fil-A, Kennedy's here, and so she's going to come and give you a spiel. Before she gets up here, because it's a long walk from 2 rows back, I've had 2 listings in the past couple of months that I put the listing coverage on. Acclaim offers listing coverage. Great protection for your clients. Right? If anything were to go wrong during that listing period, they'll cover it, which is fantastic. And all I did was just put in the agent remarks that they could get a home warranty through Acclaimed if they made an offer on our house, and that automatically converts over and becomes a great home warranty for the buyer.
Is there a limit though on what they'll actually pay?
I will not answer that because I have no clue.
I will answer that. Where'd you get that?
I made it.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You made that?
I was up late last night drawing that.
That's brilliant. I need that.
Gemini made it. I'll send it to you.
Please. I love it. I was like, where the heck did that come from? Well, hi guys, I'm Kennedy. Thank you guys so much for having me here. You guys are an amazing brokerage and I love working with you guys. So let's just jump right into it. There's a few new things that I want to talk about too, that we changed this year. I know I've talked to a few of you about it, but there's some exciting things. So let's go into listing coverage since we already got onto that topic. Answering your question, we cover up to $1,500. Obviously it's free for your seller, so it's not a full warranty. So we cover up to $1,500. I think it's a great thing, and I wish more agents would take advantage of it. We offer it because it makes you guys look good, and it's more of a thank you, like if you list a home on the market, and anything goes wrong during that listing period, this is something where you're going to shine. Say, hey, we put this listing coverage on here, we can get you covered. And it's really awesome because once you get that home inspection report, look at that and say, hey, we have a warranty. Let's look at that. If there's a leak that they didn't know about, the dishwasher stopped working, let us know. That's why we're here. And that's why we put that on there. Say, hey, the seller doesn't want to take on those extra costs because they're selling the home, right? We can step in and kind of shine there, and then it makes you look good. Yeah, go ahead.
So if dishwasher stops working, do then we pay a fee to have someone come out and service it?
Yes, same as a normal warranty. There is a service call fee.
Service call fee, but
85, correct. Yep. What was that?
They will either fix it or replace it.
Correct. Yep. Up to $1,500. Yes.
Sure, aren't $1,500 yet.
Yep.
I can probably find a $1,500 dishwasher.
I bet you can. Yeah. Any other questions on that part of it? Okay. And so like Jeff was saying, we can transfer it over to the buyer's coverage, right? Just put it right in the MLS notes. It's the easiest way to do it. We are also going to save your seller money when they transfer it over because we're now going to discount our plan for them by $50.
Does it start at the day that you first, the listing one
No,
was?
no.
Or start at the day they purchased it?
They purchase it. So at closing, they'll have a full year for the buyer. And this is really nice because it does set the buyer up for success because we had coverage on the home before they ever even get into the home. I know with home warranty companies, everybody's worried about pre-existing issues. This eliminates that fear. So it sets them up for success. It's a great warranty. It saves the seller money and it makes you look good. So I wish more agents would take advantage of it. If you have questions on it at all, sometimes it can get confusing, but just let me know and we'll work through it.
You can use me as an example.
Yeah.
On that listing, I had it on there and I literally had a leak. It was a $2,000 fix and they helped out with $800.
Yep.
My sellers were so happy.
Here's the thing, it doesn't cost the seller anything, right? They don't have to do anything. They don't have to sign anything. They don't have to pay anything. If they get $1,500.
Yep. That's it. Yep. I'll send you over the confirmation. It's easy. Yep. So just let me know on that. So jumping into our plans, we've made a few changes. Our ultimate plan is still amazing. Still unlimited HVAC coverage, incompatibility coverage, free rekey on that. We just bumped it up $50. So nothing crazy. So it's now $700 on that plan. Our homeowners have been asking for quite a few things. And so a lot of the orders we have been getting are around 800, believe it or not. So we were like, well, what can we offer that's more instead of just putting a credit on the account that can add more value? So we created an Ultimate Plus plan. It's kind of a funky name. I don't know why they chose that. What about like, I don't know, Know Me plan or something like this. So Ultimate Plus plan, so you can remember it. It's $775. The add-on, it's basically the same bones as the Ultimate plan. You still get a free rekey, no service call fee, unlimited HVAC coverage, same limits on everything else. But now we have 2 free AC tune-ups. So you get 2 a year along with a free rekey, no service call fees with that. We now cover if tree roots get into your main water line. We've had so many homeowners have had issues with that. So we'll do that. The other thing that we added was we will now cover items that are still under manufacturer warranty. So if a water heater goes out, things just don't last like they used to, and we are noticing that when it comes to appliances, water heaters, HVAC units. If it's still under manufacturer warranty, most home warranty companies, including us, used to say, hey, go through your manufacturer. That's through them. Now we will work directly with the manufacturer, get the parts, the replacement, and cover all of the labor for them. So on that plan, and it also comes with 2 water heaters instead of 1. So it's a really, really nice plan for $75. The AC tune-ups alone are worth that. So if you have the extra, go for it. Our ultimate plan is still great, but no other changes other than that.
It's an AC tune-up and a furnace tune-up?
Correct. Yep. I recommend doing it in the spring and in the fall. Yep. Yep.
What's
Yeah.
the standard coverage then if the ultimate has got unlimited HVAC? What's
Yep.
the standard?
The standard, I believe, is up to 2,500. Yep. For HVAC. Yep. So it's just a basic plan for 550
And it's only 100 or 150 more to have it.
to have it unlimited.
covered.
Yes. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Definitely worth it.
And I found that I keep upping my price when we're putting in an offer and asking for, you know, the sellers to pay for home warranty. I'm like, $850.
That's what we were seeing. We were like, they're all coming in more and people are just putting a credit, which is great because they can use that towards service call fees or renewals or whatever they want. But we're like, what can we do to make sure that they have more value? And so we offered the $775 and most of them are still coming in higher than that. So they're great price. It's priced really well too.
And then how do you get the 50 off that you use?
That's-
Is it 775 minus 50?
Yes, you can do for the listing coverage when we transfer it, you can do the ultimate plan for the new buyer or you can do the ultimate plus plan. So you can make it 650 or you can make it 725.
That's on the listing side. you
Yes.
take
Yep.
off the 50.
Yep. And we still do promotions every once in a while. We'll do 13-month free. We'll do $50 off. So just ask if there's any promotions and I'll let you know, but it's month-to-month basis. Any other questions? You
So
guys
when
are.
the year comes up, you know how you get a year warranty.
Mhm.
Do you reach out to the clients and say, hey, do you want to
Renew.
renew that?
I don't personally, we have an inside orders team that will do it, but yes, we reach out and we always run promotions for renewals because we want them to stay with us. So there's always something that we offer.
The real question, Kathy, is why aren't you
Why am I not?
reaching out to your client? You want a good touch point? Reach out to your client, ask them why it is that they, or if they want to renew their home warranty, right?
Well, yeah, my agent didn't do that for me and then my AC went out.
Yeah, you had a terrible agent. I don't know.
Uh-oh, was it you?
It was not me. If it was me, it would have been even worse than that. All right, we talked about this a little bit with Jessica, but there was a U.S. judge that struck down, they vacated the FinCen. So FinCen is the rule that makes it so that when an entity, a trust, an LLC, a corp, whatever, buys a property, is a purchaser of a property and uses cash to do so, there are other filing requirements the title has to do. And that's where Jessica talked about collecting that information. Right. And we've talked about the fact that if you don't get that done, then it could delay closing. And so you want to make sure that title's on top of it when you do a cash closing like that. Well, at this point, it's vacated. Like Jessica said, will it be appealed? We don't know what's going to happen with it down the road. We don't know. But at this point, it's off the table. So if you've got clients who are closing, just let them know that that's not going to be reported to the government. They won't have to give that information at all. It may be collected by title for reasons of having to go back, but it's not something where they're actually going to get all that information reported or given to the government at this point.
Previous messages
Yes,
that said different.
correct. Yeah, all of those classes that title tried to have to tell you all the things that you had to do or they were going to do, that's all out the window at this point because the law has been vacated. Okay. It was basically ruled that it was an invasion of privacy, which is pretty obvious. So coming into the new year, we began the year with the slowest home pace since October 2022. Inventory's up and median sales prices kind of stayed where it's at. We haven't really seen a dip here in Utah. Nationally, median sales prices have gone down a little bit, which has helped buyers. But just know we are in probably one of the slowest markets that we've seen in a while, especially with rates going up. You can thank Jason for that all day long. And with that, builder confidence has slipped. So builder confidence is at its lowest level in over 10 years. We're under a 40 builder confidence score. That's a really low score. And what that means is that your question? What does it mean? Yeah. So what it means is that builders are not confident that the market's going to be able to support the amount of inventory that they're building. And so what they do is they start to scale back the number of homes that they're building so that they don't get caught in a 2010, 2008, 208 crash, right? And so that's what you're starting to see is that builders are starting to scale back a little bit in the number of homes that they're building. Here in Utah, we haven't seen a dramatic shift in how many. In fact, we still see a lot of builders building a lot of spec homes, and then they'll actually offer discounts on those spec homes. And so there's great offers out there. If you've got clients who are willing to look at new construction, it's a great way to go. There's some really good deals out there with some interest rate buy downs and some concessions. So be aware of that. The Fed came out and said that they're going to hold steady. And so part of the reason is inflation. If you haven't noticed, we're still experiencing inflation. I just filled up my truck and it was $110. So inflation is a real thing. And that's why the Fed is kind of holding to see what's actually going to happen with the economy. The next Fed cut isn't expected until at least September at this point. So the Federal Reserve is just kind of holding and waiting to see where things are going to go. With that, mortgage rates have now hit a 2026 peak. So we haven't seen it this high yet in 2026. We're at 6.4, 6.5, somewhere in that range for your best credit buyers. And we're slowly going up. We're not going down from there right now. And a lot of that is from this. We're seeing a higher 10-year treasury yield. And so the treasury and the 10-year bond is what really drives interest rates, right? The Fed has some small influence upon what happens with interest rates, and lenders do factor it in and they do adjust their rates based on that. But a lot of it is over the bond and how the bond is affected. And so we've seen that the bond is not going in the direction that we want. Part of that is because of rising oil prices, and oil prices create inflation fears. The reason for oil prices is because of the war, right? We've got some real issues with getting oil into the system based on what's happening with the war in Iran. And then we've got market volatility from lenders that are pricing in more risk. So lenders are worried about where we're at with rates, and they're trying to price that in and adjusting accordingly with their cool crystal balls that tell them what it's going to be 6 months from now, right? And like I said, it's not Fed driven. Rates increase because of the bond market for the most part, right? And that's what's happening currently. The Fed is not doing anything to increase rates. They're just sitting stagnant, but the bonds are causing that to go up. So just be aware of that. All right. If you haven't been part of the couple of meetings, there's another one in two days from now. But we've tried to get you into meetings that talk about the new plans that are coming out for Fathom Realty. Before I talk about this and you get all worked up about it, let me go to this slide first. Anybody in this room that's an agent right now and anybody who joins Fathom before the 31st of March, your plan doesn't change. You can stay where you're at. Nothing changes. Everything's the same. You don't have to get too worked up about it. There are some small changes that happen, but it's not with your actual plan. And so I'll go over those in just a second. But if you've got agents that are looking to change over to Fathom, Fathom has changed their base plan, which most people will use. Their edge plan is now a 7% split with a $9,000 cap. If you're a team member, you're at a $45,000 cap. And then after cap, you're at $200 a transaction. That does increase your rev share if you've got people that you bring to the brokerage. And this is for you as well. That'll increase it to 20% instead of the 10% where you were previously. So be aware of that. Monthly fee of $75 instead of the $700 annual fee. If you're a producing agent, somebody who does at least one transaction every 12 months, you have the option to just pay like we have been, $700 a year. and that'll save you $200 over the monthly fee of $75. If you want to switch to this plan and it makes more sense to you, you still can. You can switch your plans once a year. You cannot, however, go back to the old plans. So if you move off of the plan that you're currently on, you can't go back to it. Okay.
So what's better? What plan we're.
In 99.9% of the cases, and I've run a lot of agent numbers through these plans, it's better that you stay where you're at. It's not significantly better, but it's slightly better, right? Especially if you're a capping agent. If you're an agent that caps at 9,000, it's usually within $200 to $400 different between those two plans. So it's not a huge increase to go to this newer plan. And so the only difference would be, you know, the rev share and those kind of things.
The current membership fee, like 600.
$700 annual fee.
So we pay a 700 fee, and then what is it per transaction? 550.
It depends on which plan you're on, because there are a couple of different plans for agents currently. You didn't ever sign up for any split plan? How did we get you in the brokerage? I guarantee you're on a plan. You're on a plan. You're either on 550 or 500, depending on which of those two plans you're on. You're either on Fathom 1 or Fathom Max. Those are the two.
What's their one?
Because we've had several changes over the past 4 years, and so depending on where you are in that cycle, it's whichever plan you were brought in on.
How much you pay?
You're on 500.
After, if the house is valued at more than.
Okay, so that's
650,
one of the changes in this plan. This plan eliminates those high value property fees, right? So especially if you're like super luxury and that's all you do, it may actually be better to come over. You'll cap quicker, and then there's no high value property fees. So that's really the biggest difference with this plan and the old plans. Other than that, pretty much apples to apples.
So like 500 or 550 plus 450, and then is there another fee if it gets over another?
Yes.
level?
So if you want to know, I'll sit down with you and go through your plan so that you know what it is, since apparently you don't know which plan you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a competitive analysis, if we look at the brokerages that we're currently now competing with, so at a 7% split, what we're currently competing with is not the equities or the Realty Pass of the world. We're competing with the Reals, the EXPs, Compass, which is including the Anywhere brand, right? Compass, C21, Coldwell Banker, Better Homes and Gardens, ERA, like that whole Anywhere brand. They're at if you did 10 sales there, you would pay them $21,000 in fees. EXP 18,000, Real 13,900. And with Fathom, you'd be at 8,740 if you did 10 sales. Now, overall, I've been asked a lot, is this good for me as an agent? Is this new plan good for me as an agent? And is it good for the brokerage? For the brokerage, it's very good. It's going to provide a more healthy way for us to grow without continually having to go back and look at, do we need to raise rates? When you're at a percentage instead of a number, we raise with inflation, right? So as house prices raise, that 7% offers more to the brokerage. The brokerage can continue to be more healthy and provide what it provides to the agent. At 500 or 550, every year the company has to go back and look and say, well, can we actually continue to be where we're at with the inflation of all the things we have to continue to pay for? So for the brokerage, it's very healthy. It's a very good thing. I think that you'll see the brokerage roll out a number of really good things. Lori Muller, who took over as president of Fathom, has talked about all kinds of things, including a signing. She's going to make sure we get the signing platform in IntelliAgent so that you can do digital signatures out of IntelliAgent. You have a client-facing portal so that they can come and download documents out of IntelliAgent as they need them in a secure fashion, and a lot more things that are coming that'll be really good for us as a brokerage. So I'm actually super excited about what we'll be able to get. I'm much more optimistic about where the company is headed right now than I have been in the last 2 to 3 years, to be really honest. And you know, I won't pull punches, right? Yeah. No, it's not because of that. The one thing that does change for everybody is this. We will now be charging a client service fee, which is you all know as a transaction fee. Same thing that we did at iPro. So there will be an addendum that you add to buyer broker agreements and exclusive right to sell agreements. There will be a $250 flat fee to your client. It will be charged at closing. You can pay that for your client if you want. I would tell you not to. This $250 is extremely low for the industry. For a client services fee. So it talks about all the things that it is. It is on every transaction.
So they're already charging $550. They now have to, can they now charge?
So let's be really clear. What's happening currently, if you're charging $550 and 2.5%, right? That is not a transaction fee. That is $550 of commission and 2.5% of commission added together. It's your compensation. Has nothing to do with the transaction fee to the brokerage, right?
Do you now charge 800 or they're not allowed?
Well, you can charge whatever you want in yours. If you want to charge $550 and whatever in yours, this is a separate addendum, completely separate. It's a transaction fee, has nothing to do with your compensation. It won't be on the front page of the buyer broker or the exclusive right to sell. This is an addendum that they will sign. No, because they're not two transaction fees, Leah.
No, it's not.
So if you're telling them that it's a transaction fee, you're telling them wrong, because it's just simply not a transaction fee that you're charging if you're charging. No. Well, it's a brokerage fee if you're there, right? It's compensation. Right? It's brokerage compensation that the brokerage is receiving. This is a transaction fee, truly a transaction fee that gets paid Fathom corporate, right?
So this is another form at the end that we say, and then you've got to sign this because our brokerage will charge you a $250 fee at the end of everyone, buyer or seller.
Correct. Great synopsis. Thank you.
As a
Question.
So I have 3 listings right now and they're not under contract. And so I mean, do we have to, is it starting April 1st or?
So this begins April 1st and it's only for any new buyer broker or exclusive right to sell signed after you're fine. Yeah.
I want to get my people in contract before April. $250.
Yes, you want to get agency agreements done before April 1st if you don't want to have them charge the $250. Okay. I'll tell you that I've done this. I've done these compliance fees, transaction fees, whatever you want to call it, for many years. I started at Coldwell Banker where we did them and they were $300, I believe, when I started there. Done them at Better Homes and Gardens and they were $495. I've never had a client actually push back, right? When I first started, I was really against this kind of a fee and I actually paid it for the first year of my career. Just thinking that I didn't want to push it off to my client. But then I just realized it was dumb for me to pay him. And I started just telling him what it was. In a $600,000 transaction, nobody cares about the $250. You can charge $695 apparently. That's what C21's currently charging, and get away with it. So just be aware. This again is something that helps add financial stability to the brokerage. So that's why it's there. Yep.
Can you do it on a single, can you charge like 800 and then?
No.
550?
No, because the front page of that is about your compensation. So the front page where it says dollar and percentage, if you put 800 there, then that's just for you. It has nothing to do with this compensation. This has to be listed on that addendum. So you can do 800 and do this and then do a waiver and pay the 250 and collect the 800 and pay the 250. But that's not going to help you. That's just going to be extra money in your pocket that you pay taxes on. Yeah, it's one extra page for them to sign. It won't be, I promise it won't be as hard as you think it is. The form will be coming by April 1st. We'll make sure and have that out in your hands as soon as we get it and see it. We'll do some training on it so that it's easy for you. And from now on, we've been training you over and over and over that when title asks that we don't charge a transaction fee, we now do. So when they ask, is there a transaction fee? You say, yes, we do, $250. That's the new answer. You should always answer that to your title company when they ask. Okay. All right, house fishing. So this is a new fun term that's come up, and house fishing has to do with this. It has to do with you've got a house that looks like this and you're going to sell it. And so what do? You throw this in AI and you make this, right? And this is what you put on the MLS. And this is what clients see. And then they walk in the home and that's what they see, right? And so using these images that are fixing torn wallpaper, shag carpet, problems with the house that are inherent, that's not allowed, right? You can't misrepresent the house that you're actually selling. Can you do virtual staging? Yeah, totally fine, right? You're not changing the actual house. So that's allowed. But changing things like the wallpaper or the windows or the flooring or whatever, that's not allowed, right? And Colorado already has rules passed that they are not allowing this, or that it has to be fully disclosed in big letters that this is an AI generated whatever. So just be aware that if you're doing this, there's going to be some rules and regulations around it. And honestly, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place, right? So be really careful with this. Legal issues. So let's talk about a legal issue that UAR brought up in their last newsletter. There are a lot of problems with DIY renos right now regarding seller disclosures. There's a number of lawsuits on UAR's desk where buyers are suing sellers that have done these DIY renovations. And then they're just saying, hey, I haven't lived in the property, so we're not disclosing anything, right? And they're the one, they bought the property, they haven't lived there, but they've gone in and done all the remodeling, right? And so there are issues like mold, improper plumbing, damaged subfloor, improper HVAC units. So all kinds of things that the buyers move in, find these things, and then they're suing the sellers because the sellers never disclosed. Did the sellers have knowledge of it? If they did it themselves? So they did it themselves.
Yep.
There's a really good chance, right? It's pretty hard to say, hey, I went and tiled the bathroom and I didn't know anything about the fact that your subfloor is totally soft and molding and going to hell, right? So it's really hard to say I did the work and I didn't know anything about this, right? And it's important that sellers are always disclosing what they know, right? So for listing agents, make sure that you emphasize to the seller that they need to disclose everything to their knowledge, like what they know. It doesn't have anything to do with if you lived in the home. It has to do with what do you know about the house. Like if you know that there's a problem, if you've got a rental and you've never even done DIY reno and you know something happened there, it's your knowledge, right? And if it ever comes out that you knew about it and there was a problem, the buyer will sue and win every time when they don't disclose, right? And so it's your job to make sure that they understand that it is. And if you know about anything that's inaccurate, you need to make sure that it's on those disclosures, right? Don't just take them and put them in IntelliAgent, like read through them and make sure that they're correct. It's our job to do that. On the buyer side, when your clients go under contract with that beautiful remodel that somebody just did, right? It's our responsibility at that point to verify if permits were pulled, right? Verify if those permits were actually inspected and closed properly. There's a lot of times that permits were pulled. Dawn and I hear about this all the time. The seller pulls a permit, gets some work done, but they never have the city come back and inspect that. And so it's never actually closed, right? And then you've got, well, the city's got to come back now. What's the city going to do?
Do they only need to pull permits on like additions? Like if it's just finished.
I don't know.
You don't need a permit. You can just.
Don't know. Ask the city. Ask the city what they want a permit for. I'm not a permit expert, and so I'm not going to tell you what you do and you don't need for permits, right?
To find out if it in the seller disclosures, it just says no permit provided.
Mhm.
I mean,
Here's the
what would be
reason.
the repercussion of that?
So Don's got one in his office. The seller went and finished the basement. The buyer moved in, found out that there's an open permit on it. The city found out that they need to come back and inspect. And so the city is now going to have to open up walls in order to inspect the wiring that was put in, right? And that is not at the city's, that's not the city's expense. That's at the seller's expense. So they're going to have to rip their walls open, have it all inspected. Well, it is now because the seller never disclosed, right? And they didn't do a permit. And that's a case in our Union Park office, right?
So, but if they write in the seller disclosures, no permit, then they're covered because they've told the.
Right. If you tell them,
If you don't write anything, then they can be in trouble.
absolutely. If they know that they didn't pull a permit and they didn't write it and they're not disclosing, because it asks if the work was permitted in the seller disclosures.
Then if you have an inspection on that home and the inspector inspects the home and sees that everything's fine.
Does the inspector know if a permit was pulled?
If just say he does know that there was no.
He doesn't know.
What do you mean by permit pulled though?
So if I go to the city and I apply for a permit and they give me a permit to do the work, that's called pulling a permit.
Or if
Then
you never
don't
went
follow
to the
through.
city.
And then you just don't follow through. Well, if you don't go to the city at all and there's no permit ever and you don't permit the work, that's the same thing. So you still need to disclose that there was no permit pulled, right? And then it's up to the buyer at that point.
That happened also up in Clinton. My client was gonna do Airbnb in the house, and so she talked to the city about getting a business license because they require it up there. And when they found out the basement hadn't been permitted, they had to come in and do the same thing. But luckily they didn't have to tear the walls open because there was a big storage room and they could basically see quality of the work and everything because the walls were not drywalled or anything. But that could have been just like the one in Union Park. So, and this was way before this, so it's like 5 years ago.
So if you're on the listing side, make sure and disclose. If you're on the buyer side, make sure and do some investigation, like find out if you know the basement was remodeled, go to the city, find out if permits were pulled, find out if they were closed, see who did the inspection, like all of those kind of things, right?
We should tell them, hey, you do need to say no permit.
Absolutely. If you're reading through and you know that they remodeled the basement, right? I know they said, hey, yeah, we moved in and we remodeled the basement. Don't you love it? And you're like, yeah, this is awesome. Right. And then you get the seller disclosures back and it says nothing under the permits. Probably want to have a conversation with your seller about what needs to be disclosed. Right.
Just to clarify, so let's say they do disclose, they didn't have a permit. The buyers see that and they go ahead and buy the house.
Yeah.
What are the ramifications?
Whose problem at that point?
They buy it.
Buyer's problem.
That's what I'm saying, so.
As long as you disclose, right, then the seller is okay. And that's why there's two sides to this. Seller, disclose, like say everything that you know about this house. Like, I don't care how big or small it is, say everything.
So, prints down. You have an inspector from the insurance company comes in, they find that out. Is it possible that it would be covered under the,
I don't know. That's so far above my pay grade. It's not even funny.
Because the insurance company is gonna send in their inspector to see what started the fire, and they'll probably look for permits.
Possibly.
I think I'll boil it down to this. If you're a seller, you have a duty as an agent to not be involved, but to make sure they disclose that it's done. You've done your responsibility because it's still incumbent upon them if they want to lie or whatever. If I am a buyer's agent, then the question comes, this looks like new stuff here. Do I, as an agent, have a duty, one, to do the investigation? Or do I have just the responsibility to inform my buyers, you folks, buyer beware, where is that line? Because they may say we don't care, but you know where I'm going is as a buyer's agent, if I see something, do I have a responsibility and representation? Then I go and do my homework.
So,
Or just tell them and
Right.
note that I have told you. Because that's what it
Yeah.
comes down to.
As a listing agent, you have the responsibility to make sure that your client knows that they need to disclose everything. If you're aware, like if you know that the toilet is always plugged and they've got roots in their sewer line and it's always backing up, and you look at the disclosures and it's not there, and they say, I'm not going to disclose that, you don't really have the option just to say, that's fine, you can lie, right? Your option is, well, you can lie, but I'm not going to represent you anymore. Right.
Let the other party know that you know.
You can disclose.
That even if the seller doesn't disclose, but you as an agent.
You have a responsibility to disclose. Right. And you need to, but you need to tell your seller that you're going to disclose. Right. So they can say, hey, I'm not going to tell them about the roots. And you can say, great, I'm going to tell everybody about the roots. And then they know that you're going to tell them. They're probably going to want to fire you, but you still have that responsibility. On the buyer side, I go in, I see that there's a problem or there may be a problem, something that needs to be investigated. I don't have the responsibility to go investigate that. I have the responsibility to tell my client that they probably want to have that investigated, right? Whether they do it or they ask me to do it and then I say yes, or they ask someone else to do it, whatever. But it's not my responsibility to do the actual investigation of the work, just to make sure that they're informed.
If it wasn't done by the sellers and it was done by the sellers before that, then can you assume, look, it's good because it's not even the people that are selling it that did the remodeling, it was the people before. So who's going to complain at this stage?
So
You still have to disclose.
So the sellers before the sellers did a remodel. I buy the house, right? Do I know if there's permits pulled?
No.
So I never asked. It's not disclosed. I don't know if there were permits pulled or not. What is my obligation to disclose?
You just say you don't know.
It's about your knowledge, right? So whatever I know, right? I don't know if they pulled permits. I don't know if they were closed. I don't know if they did the work themselves. I don't know who the contractors were. I don't know if it was even done right, right? I don't know. So there's nothing that I can disclose.
Yeah.
You're truly off the hook at that point because it's about your knowledge of what's happening.
Only when you buy off of someone that has done the remodel and you know that they did get a permit.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. And one of the great things, or one of the things that is provided by Fathom Realty, is your access to the David Knox videos. There's a ton, like over 2,000 training videos for real estate agents, open houses to seller financing to everything in between, right? And so if you want some great training, David Knox is a great place to go. But they just released these videos, and these videos are videos that you can send directly to your clients or prospective clients, right? And they go through and they talk about different portions of the buying or selling process. And they're really great explanatory videos that can help educate your clients. So no, they're in David Knox, the David Knox library. If you look on the wiki, it'll tell you how to get there, or just call me, which everybody does, and I'll tell you how to get there. So I'm going to play you a short clip of one of those.
When selling your home, there are two important decisions: selecting your real estate agent and establishing your price. Many sellers make the mistake of establishing their asking price first, then selecting an agent who agrees to it. That often leads to listing with the highest bidding agent instead of the most qualified agent. Then sellers often say, another agent will list it at a higher price. An agent who gains your listing at a high price now will simply require successive price reductions later. If you were making weekend plans and were dependent on the weather, would you choose a forecaster who promised sunny days or the one who was most accurate?
And so,
Your name on there.
oh, it automatically brands it to you, by the way. It just automatically does it. So when you send these videos out through your portal, it will automatically brand you. I obviously need to update mine, but didn't have time. It'll brand it to you. It'll have that all on there. And so you can send that over to your clients. It's really awesome.
Yeah, the Remax, when I was with Remax, had him come out and do one of the things at their convention. And I sat there front stage, leaning against the stage for Chicago, when Chicago came. But it was funny, he has a scenario where he talks about when we're buyers, we're Republicans. When we're sellers, we're Democrats. When we're buyers, we don't want to pay anything. When we're selling, we want everything.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into politics. You will not drag me down that hole. Yeah,
Put your Fathom Realty email.
you can change that.
Change that.
Yeah. Yep. All of it's just updating your profile. I just didn't have a chance to do that before I did team meeting. All right. Just a reminder again, and guys, okay, 2 reminders. Number 1, Beverly Blasky, who had been doing compliance for years for us, retired. And so I'm now doing compliance for us. If things are delayed by a little bit, it's because I'm in a meeting like this and I can't go do compliance, right? So it might be an hour or 2 before you get your compliance done. Number 2, if you thought Beverly was picky, I'm pretty damn picky, right? Like I've rejected Brooks documents probably 40 times this week, right? So so just do your, like, slow down, make sure you're doing your contracts correctly. I'm not going to be a non-common sense guy. Like if it makes sense, if I know I can defend your contract in a court, I'll let it go through. If it's something that I know that I'm going to lose if I go to court with, I'm going to reject it every time, right? That's really my bar as to where I set my rejections and my acceptance. But one of the things I've seen a ton more than I really ever should, is how many agents are uploading all their documents the day before closing or the day after closing in some cases, right? Don't do that. Like within 48 hours of a signed document, it should be uploaded to an IntelliAgent. If I get a call from a client, I've got to be able to get in and see those contracts. Plus it's a state rule, plus it's a Fathom rule. So just make sure you're uploading your documents as soon as they're signed by all parties, okay? That's it, guys. Go check your mail. There's mail for everybody, probably. All junk mail. What's your question? You're good.
Got this Encompass organization talking about how they're basically going to keep their listings within.
Private?
Yes, private. Any comment on that?
I think it's a terrible idea. Every time they interview somebody that's doing that from Compass or some of these other brokerages that are doing it, they'll bring the agent on and they'll say, how does it help me as a seller to put my listing private so that only a few companies can see it versus putting it out so the whole public can see it? There's no answer to that, right? They always flounder around and say something stupid because there's no way to tell your seller that it's better for them to be on a private network than on a public network where everybody can see it. I'll take that back. There are a few very select cases where you've got high profile people who don't want everybody to see their house, right? A very select few times when that makes sense, right? But for the most part, I mean, it's common sense that the more agents you can get a house in front of, the better off you are. So I think it's a terrible idea. We'll see where it goes. There's still a lot of battle to be fought over this whole thing, and where it goes.
So it's not happening.
Oh, it's happening.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, they already have their private portals. There are certain locales in California where you have to have the right access or whatever to be able to see these houses. You have to ask for access to see it. And so it's definitely happening. It's there. Gary?
See something new on seller disclosures with HOA, was there a change on that?
There was a change, and at the bottom it just says, so there was one line added to the seller disclosures. It was updated in March. And it just says that if you have problems or questions, you can refer to the new ombudsman over HOA at the division. So the division now has a HOA ombudsman that can answer public problems. So that's what the disclosures added.
The listings they already have with the sellers.
No,
Don't need them.
you don't need to update them. Other questions? Okay, go get some food. Thanks for being here, guys.